you're going to be taking a Caribbean cruise and you like trains as much as you like cruise ships, you might want to make sure your travel agent gets you on a ship that stops at the island of St. Kitts. Why? Because this island has one of the most beautiful scenic railway tours you could ever imagine.
In the beautiful breezes of the eastern Caribbean Sea lies, for what is now, one of the last undiscovered jewels of the West Indies. But that is starting to change, and the change is wonderful too. The Island Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis is becoming an increasingly popular stop for the cruise ships that bring visitors from around the world to the Caribbean in search of both adventure and relaxation. First governed by Englishman Thomas Warner back in the 1600s, ownership of this lovely island changed hands between the British and the French many times. It gained its independence from Britain in the 1980s. For hundreds of years, the lifeblood of this island was the sugarcane industry, and that's the reason the railroad was built. The tropical weather and the rich volcanic soil were ideal for cultivation of sugarcane. But the world economy changed things, and it became increasingly difficult for this tiny island to compete with the giant sugarcane growing countries. So a few years ago, the decision was made to get out of the sugar business and expand the economy in other ways. Tourism would be an important part of the mix, and helping to pull the country through this transition is the last functioning railroad of the Eastern Caribbean. The St. Kitts Scenic Railway operates on the same narrow gauge tracks that used to carry the cars full of sugarcane to the processing plant. It now carries tourists in search of a unique experience.
A friend of mine at one of the major cruise lines, when I asked him was there a place in the world he'd ever been where he thought maybe a tourist railway might be able to be started up, where his ships might go, he said, I don't know, maybe St. Kitts. And I said, where's that? Little island in the West Indies, he said. And we came down and took a look at it, and with the help of the sugar company and the Ministry of Tourism, the local government here, we were able to hammer out an agreement because we found that it was beautiful. It was an absolutely untouched, undiscovered Caribbean island. Sugar was the #1 industry on St. Kitts for over 350 years. When sugar was phased out in 2005, tourism had been growing, but it essentially now is the major thrust of the economy here on this island. The railroad, by being a unique anchor attraction, unlike any in the entire surrounding region, the last railway left in the West Indies, this single railway line gives a living link back to the earliest days of the Indies, the days when European powers struggled over these islands. We actually tell that story on this train.
If you build it, they will come, and they certainly have. The number of cruise ships with St. Kitts on the itinerary is climbing dramatically. Accommodations are absolutely gorgeous and cater to whatever level of care you are looking for. First-class hotels include the grand elegance of Otley's Plantation Inn and the new Marriott Resort, as well as quieter local establishments such as the Ocean Terrace Inn, which is nestled on 3 acres of tranquil tropical gardens. And tens of thousands of the visitors ride the St. Kitts Scenic Railway.
About 200 ships call at St. Kitts each year. About 70% of our visitors on cruise ships come from North America, 20% from Europe, and the balance from Latin America and the rest of the world. People come to the Caribbean because it's a warm weather destination, and people look forward to seeing the island environment. And St. Kitts and Nevis are 2 wonderfully pristine and genuinely unspoiled Caribbean islands. So for the same reasons that everybody wants to go to the Caribbean, they come to St. Kitts and Nevis, but here they know that they're going to get the genuine product. Well, the railroad is critical to the heritage side of the product that we promote, and it's also great entertainment. But the railroad is an actual former sugar industry transportation system which moved sugar cane from the fields to the central sugar factory, and for us it's a very important part of our heritage, and we believe strongly in promoting heritage as part of our overall product, and the railroad and the scenic railway helps to keep that heritage alive.
Many of the ships dock in Port Zante, in the capital city of Basse-Terre. where a large portion of the island's more than 40,000 residents live. A short bus ride brings you to the beginning of your trip aboard the train. The tour is a 30-mile circular route around the island, which is only 19 miles long. It is an unsurpassed opportunity to experience the scenery and the culture of what really is an unspoiled country. You can sit with your camera and take pictures from the top observation deck, or enjoy a beverage in the air-conditioned lower-level parlor. You will still see fields of sugarcane. Brimstone Hill Fortress, a World Heritage Site that took nearly a century to build. Sand beaches looking out over the sea. You'll rumble over the many steel girder bridges that span the valleys carved by Mother Nature out of the volcanic rock. Tunnels of green forest vegetation will engulf your senses, and the friendly waves from the residents of this island will bring a smile to your face.
I think they like it because it's a unique experience. It's a one-of-a-kind thing. They get a chance to see our country from a perfect vantage point. And most of all, one of the things that really keeps coming back at us in terms of the experience is the interaction they've got with our people, and particularly our young people, the children of primary and pre-primary school ages.
The locomotives came from a Polish sugar beet railroad. They were built in Romania, but they were used on a sugar beet railroad in Poland, and we brought them here. Now they're working on a sugar cane railroad in the Caribbean. The passenger cars were designed by Colorado Rail Car and built by Hamilton Manufacturing, Burlington, Washington.
Starting from scratch, the cars were built to suit the vista. In other words, we measured our first critical point, which was the tallest cane, which we saw was 13 feet. And we decided to place our observation deck at that level.
It is the scenic beauty of St. Kitts that makes it a destination. And it is an attraction like the St. Kitts Scenic Railway that helps bring the destination and its history to life.